What's up YouTube, how goes it? Welcome to another video. So if you follow my channel, you know I do a lot of laptop reviews, and I figured that I've done enough reviews recently that it kind of calls for a least likely to most likely advisory on laptops to tell you which ones I'm most likely to recommend to you guys and which ones I would probably tell you to steer clear of. Of course, with that being said, there are a couple of caveats for this comparison. The first one being I've shortlisted it to a total of 6 laptops, and all these laptops have one thing in common. They're actually rocking Intel's newest Tiger Lake processors or chipset. The reason I didn't compare them to their AMD counterparts or previous generation Intel counterparts is because often, despite two laptops being the same, just because of a different processor also often means they have a different screen, different connectivity ports, and it kind of becomes difficult to compare apples to oranges. However, if we compare Intel devices to the latest Intel devices, it's a little more consistent that way. If you do want to see a AMD comparison or previous iterations of, let's say, Intel, I can always do those. Let me know in the comments section. The second caveat, of course, is that this is a honesty is the best policy type of review. So if you know my channel, I only ever talk about stuff I've genuinely reviewed. All the laptops I'm talking about here today, I have actually reviewed on my channel at one point or another, pretty recently too. I will leave a link for each of these reviews. You can check them out. And the third thing to keep in mind is that this is not a review for each of these laptops. I've already done that. You can check that out, like I said, in the links below. This is actually a highlight of some of the best and worst features of these laptops and why they rank where they do. And of course, keep in mind, this is my professional opinion. It doesn't mean that the laptop you have, if let's say if it's at the bottom of this list, is the worst laptop for you. Your experience may vary. I've taken some general objective facts about these laptops and kind of ranked them based on that. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this comparison. It may even help you make your purchase decision. If you guys enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button, consider liking this video, and of course, as always, thank you so much for watching. Without any other stuff, let's get started. Keep in mind, I'm gonna go from worst to best. Let's go. Starting off at number 6 at the very bottom of the list. Honestly guys, I take no joy or pride in putting this laptop at the bottom of the barrel, but I gotta be honest, normally laptops tend to be good in some areas and bad in others. The HP Laptop 15, that's literally what it's called, it's not part of their Pavilion or Envy series, manages to kind of just be bad all across the board with very few good areas. So starting off with the design of this laptop, it's made of cheap, hard TPU or plastic, if you will. It basically flexes no matter where you press. On top of that, the minute you unfold this laptop, that keyboard is just bad. The keys are wobbly, loose, and there's so much flex on the keyboard. This is probably the worst trackpad I've reviewed all year long. When you press on it, you actually feel like you'll break it any moment. It just is really unbalanced. To make matters even worse, the display is 720p. This laptop costs $900 here in Canada, which is roughly the same as a lot of the other laptops I'll be reviewing on this list. And it's the only one on this list that actually has a 720p HD screen as opposed to a full HD screen. To make matters even more worse, it has a mere 45% NTSC color rating, which means it looks washed out and bleached, and the viewing angles are nothing to write home about. The only saving grace I will give for this laptop is that its performance is more or less on par with the rest of the competition. It performs like most other Intel 11th generation processors, and that may be some good news for some, but I really can't recommend this laptop. HP just cut too many corners, and it shows as soon as you unbox this thing. Number 5 on our list is the Acer Aspire 5. So some of you might be shocked as to why this one is so low on the list given its popularity. Well, here's the thing. The Acer Aspire 5 has a fantastic design. It looks sleek for sure. It also uses a nice mix of premium and standard hard TPU material, so it actually has a metallic finish on the top and uses high quality plastic for the most part. On top of that, you actually have decent I/O port diversity here. So you have an HDMI port, a couple of USB ports, a USB-C port. It's a very functional laptop. Also, the keyboard, while not the best in class, is a decent typing experience, and the trackpad actually feels really nice. It's pretty premium and it actually clicks very nice as well. Unfortunately, this laptop has two areas that really hurt it a lot in terms of the points and put it right where it is. The first one being the horrendous display. So this is the second worst display on this list of laptops. You have a fair 51% sRGB rating, which means colors look really bad on this laptop, just super washed out, and if you are a creative user, you might get nauseous just looking at that screen. And on top of that, you have one of the worst viewing angles I've seen on a panel, and it just makes it impossible to look at this laptop from any sort of tilt. The only good thing about this screen is that it's a full HD 1080p screen. To make matters even worse, unfortunately, you have a serious heat problem with this laptop. Thermals are really bad. You actually spend more time with the fans running at maximum setting than you do with them off or running at low settings. That's how hot this laptop gets. Doing anything as simple as opening up a Word document, the fans go wild. But if you dare do exotic activities like gaming or video editing, this laptop suffers from severe frame drops very often. Occasionally applications crash, and there is a serious thermal problem with this laptop that can actually get in the way of its pure usability, which is a real shame because this laptop has some really nice premium elements to it. Number 4 on our list is the Dell Inspiron 5000 laptop. Now this one is an interesting one because I think this is a pretty well balanced laptop in a lot of regards. So it has a fairly premium build quality. You actually have multiple metallic finishes on this laptop with some high quality hard TPU material as well. On top of that, this laptop provides a very comfortable typing experience. So I found the keyboard had practically no flex, the keys are nice and tactile, and the backlighting is well done. On top of that, this laptop has a fantastic trackpad. It's super tactile, it's well balanced, and it's definitely one of the better trackpads I've used on a laptop, which makes interacting with this laptop a whole lot more fun. Also, this laptop actually manages to stay pretty cool for the most part, so unless you're doing anything super resource intensive, the fans don't go off that often. It's a pretty quiet laptop, and even when you are doing resource intensive stuff like prolonged gaming or for example 4K video editing, there's not too much thermal throttling and you don't see a lot of performance drop. It's a pretty good experience. Unfortunately, like a lot of other laptops, the display here is less than ideal. In fact, it's mediocre at best. With a 1080p screen, you'd be happy, but then the sad part is you only have a 58% sRGB color accuracy rating, which will again drive a lot of creative users away from this laptop. However, with that being said, if you are a business user, a student, or just a general user, you'll find a lot of value in this laptop, and it's one that I can recommend for those subset of users. Number 3 on our list, that's right, we're getting closer and closer to the really good stuff, is the Lenovo IdeaPad 5. So this version has been recently refreshed with the Tiger Lake specs. I have to say, Lenovo does a fantastic job at making sleek, professional looking laptops. They really have a unique look in the industry, and this laptop uses a nice mix of premium and standard materials. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy in the slightest, and it looks like a great laptop, and it feels like a great one as well. The keyboard is one of the best I've used on a laptop in a while. It's an absolute joy to type on. It's got such nice key travel. It also has a tactile feel, no flex whatsoever, and I could honestly type an essay on this thing and actually smile. That's right. The trackpad is actually made of a glass surface and feels really nice to the touch. Also, the clicks are of course tactile as well, and this is one of the few trackpads where I actually enjoy using a trackpad on a laptop, and I despise trackpads, trust me. You also have spacious palm rest space. Another cool thing about this laptop is that you have up to 11 hours of battery life, which is actually amazing considering that this is the only laptop in this list that actually has in its base configuration a 11th generation i7 processor as opposed to a i5 one, so it's more power hungry, but it still has an above average battery ratio, which is, like I said, amazing. Also, you have relatively good speakers on here with a stereo setup. The biggest downside for this laptop is one it shares a lot of other laptops in this list, is that you have a relatively poor display in terms of quality. So while you do have a full HD 1080p display, you only have a 56% sRGB rating, which I'm just getting tired of saying, seriously looks washed out, and it's going to drive away a lot of creative users who rely on color accuracy to do their jobs or workflows. So if you are in that aspect, steer clear of this laptop. But if you are a professional business user, like an accountant for example, if you're a student student who's not too heavily reliant on creative activities like video editing or photo editing, for example, this laptop offers a lot of value. One other slight downside is that it is slightly more expensive than the other laptops on this list given its higher base specifications. However, again, it offers a ton of value, and if you're not super budget conscious, this laptop might be the one for you. For number 2 on our list, it's getting hot, like seriously competitive over here. We've got the Dell XPS 13 9305 variant. So this one actually uses Dell's older 2020 design, however has the latest Tiger Lake specifications. It's not the same as the 9310 variant, which actually has a all new design, but this is actually the better of the two because it has better thermal management, it runs cooler, and it actually never breaks a sweat despite being such a puny laptop in terms of its form factor. You can actually game on this thing and do even 4K video editing, and the fans don't get super loud. They're on, but they stay pretty consistently low in terms of overall noise level. One of my favorite things about the laptop, of course, is its sleek design. It has such a premium looking design. It feels nice. It uses a nice mix of premium materials all around, and I definitely think this is the equivalent of a MacBook in the PC world. The keyboard is one of the best in the industry, rivaled only by the likes of the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 or the likes of the Surface Book. Seriously, it's a joy to type on. You have a very high quality glass surface trackpad that clicks amazing. You have reasonable amount of palm rest space given how little this laptop is, but the highlight of this laptop has to be its screen. You have a full HD 1080p screen, which by the way can opt for a 4K screen as well, which will cost you a ton more. However, for the base 1080p screen, you get a rating of 96% sRGB. Colors look vivid, sharp, lively. Creative users will love this laptop. Viewing angles are fantastic. You can look at this laptop like this, and it still looks so crisp. There's no washout. The viewing angles are phenomenal on this laptop. And you have pretty good battery life that goes well above the 11 to 12 hour mark. I've actually got it as much as 14 hours on a single charge. So again, this is a all-around super versatile, super premium looking laptop with great functionality. One of the biggest downsides of this laptop, unfortunately, is that it has very limited I/O port diversity. You only have USB-C ports on this entire device, and that's a real shame because it reminds me of the MacBook world. I wish Dell put a little more creativity in there, and it may get in the way of functionality for some users. Finally, we get to number 1 on our list. So keep in mind that to be number 1 on this list, you don't have to be the most superior laptop out there. You have to be anywhere from good to great in almost every single criteria, and you just have to be a great all-rounder value. And that award goes to the Acer Swift 3. This laptop genuinely won my heart. So it has a fairly premium build quality. It's got all sorts of nice mix of metallic finishes with high quality plastic as well. While not as premium as the likes of the Dell XPS, it's definitely top notch given its price. Also, this laptop is heavy enough to feel premium, but light enough to respect the weight you'd want from an Ultrabook. But what really makes this laptop nice is that it actually managed to keep relatively decent thermals. So while it's not as good as the likes of the Lenovo IdeaPad 5 in that regard, it's actually pretty good overall. You can definitely game on here, do 4K editing with limited performance drops, and you'll generally have a very enjoyable experience. Also, you have fantastic I/O port diversity on this laptop, so you have a nice mix of all kinds of ports, which makes this a super functional laptop. I also found you have decent battery life ranging in the 11-hour range, so it's right around there with the average expectations. But another area this laptop really does well in that I personally found was the keyboard and trackpad. So while the keyboard isn't as fantastic again as some of the other ones on this list, it's a very comfortable typing experience. You have really good backlighting, there's no flex. Did I mention you have a full glass surface trackpad on this laptop as well that actually feels super tactile and super nice with great palm rest space as well. But you're really asking right now, what makes this laptop so exceptional? How did it get to number 1? Surely that can't be enough. And you're right. Well, believe it or not, this laptop actually has the best display out of all the laptops I've just mentioned. So you have a full HD 1080p screen, but you have a 99% sRGB rating. Colors look super vivid on this laptop. Honestly, I was kind of blown away just how good the display on this laptop looks. Like, I mean, it's crazy. If you're a creative user, you'll really respect this laptop screen. Everything is sharp, crisp, and the viewing angles are out of this world. You can practically look at this laptop with your neck just spinning in circles, and the viewing angle is nearly flawless. Like, it's really well done. Also, I really like how, despite this is a 14-inch screen, because of the high quality display, you get immersed so well into it, you forget that it's actually an inch shorter than a lot of the laptops on this list. And another thing I like about this laptop is that in general, it's really good value because it's actually priced the exact same as item number 6 on our review. So the HP Laptop 15 and the Acer Swift 3 are both priced at $900 here in Canada, and you can see they're two opposite sides of the spectrum. The HP Laptop 15 cut every corner it could. It's a cheap and flimsy laptop, and the Acer Swift 3 provides fantastic all-around value and didn't cut any corners to my knowledge. I really enjoyed this laptop. I think it's earned that spot, and honestly, Acer did a fantastic job with this particular model. So that's pretty much it for my list, everyone. I hope you guys actually enjoyed it. Now keep in mind again, this is my professional opinion. Your experience may differ with the device you're using, and that's totally cool. In fact, I'd love to hear which laptops you would order from this list and why you think what you think. It's all part of the fun. So let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. It genuinely helps me grow. It means a lot to me and helps me provide more quality content for you guys. Again, thank you so much for your support. I'll catch you in the next one. Soul Tech, logging out.